Immaculata-LaSalle High School. Immaculata-LaSalle High School is a private, Roman Catholic high school in the Coconut Grove neighborhood of Miami, Florida. It is part of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Miami and located between Mercy Hospital and Vizcaya on South Bayshore Drive. The school was officially founded as Immaculata Academy, a Roman Catholic college preparatory school for girls, on September 1, 1958. The Sisters of St. Joseph Congregation of St. Augustine FL were the school's founding religious order. The school is now run by the Salesian Sisters of Don Bosco. Immaculata Academy. On November 5, 1945, Bishop Joseph P. Turley of the Diocese of St. Augustine purchased 130 of the original 160-acre, 68-acre and a bayside and 61-acre opposite in the Pineland of James Deering's Vizcaya estate from Deering's heirs. In 1950, Mercy Hospital was founded next to the property by the Sisters of St. Joseph Congregation of St. Augustine to serve the booming post-World War Roman II population. On August 9, 1958, Sister Mary Damian, SSJ Immaculata Academy Community Superior and Sister Marie de Lourdes Ortegas, SSJ Immaculata Academy Principal arrived at Mercy Hospital. Immaculata Academy was built adjacent to Mercy Hospital facing the shores of Biscayne Bay. A few days later, on August 13, 1958, the Roman Catholic Diocese of Miami was created, including 16 southeastern Florida counties, 51 parishes, 81 priests and 185,000 Catholics. The rest of the counties remained part of the Diocese of St. Augustine. On August 15, Sisters Mary Monica, St. George, and Mary Martha, SSJ arrived at Mercy Hospital where they shared 5 rooms within the hospital convent. Between August 26 and 28, the first 138 Immaculata Academy students registered for 10th through 12th grades at Mercy Hospital. On August 31, Reverend Thomas Anglin, Immaculata Academy president, conducted the first faculty meeting. 4 lay teachers completed the faculty. The school uniform chosen by the faculty was a skirt and blouse of a beige strip dry material, saddle oxfords, along with a dark brown cardigan for winter months. On September 1, Immaculata Academy was co-funded by Archbishop Joseph P. Turley of the Diocese of St. Augustine and Reverend Mother Anna Maria, SSJ. The school name Immaculata was chosen to honor the Blessed Virgin Mary under the title of her Immaculate Conception. The school opened in the middle of the modern American civil rights movement and during the emerging of the modern feminist movement. Ivan Mishrovic's pet and notable sculpture arrived in Miami the same day and was unceremoniously installed facing Biscayne Bay in front of the Immaculata Classroom building. When the Diocese of Miami was carved out of the Diocese of St. Augustine, the monument to modern martyrs of communism, as envisioned and planned by Archbishop Turley, was never completed. On September 2, 1958, Immaculata Academy opened its doors for the first time with 153 students. Only 3 classrooms were ready. While the rest of the school was still under construction, classes were held on half-day session. Because the cafetorium was not completed, students had to use a large classroom on the first floor for cold lunches. On September 15, full-day classes began. On November 28, the school held its first Dance the Sophomore Harvest Hop in the newly completed cafetorium, and in December the first Christmas formal dance took place there. On January 28, 1959, Reverend Thomas L. McDermott became the second Immaculata Academy president. On March 14, Immaculata religious community moved into the school convent. On May 1, the first student members were inducted into the Immaculata chapter of the National Honor Society. On June 4, Immaculata's first graduation class of 26 students received diplomas at the Church of the Little Flower St. Teresa in Coral Gables, Florida. On August 15, Sister Marie de Lourdes Ortegas, SSJ, was appointed Immaculata Convent Superior, replacing Sister Mary Damian, SSJ. On September 8, Immaculata Academy opened for a second school year with 285 pupils, including St. Teresa School's 9th graders. 1959 was the first year 9th grade students attended the school. On June 3, 1960, Immaculata Academy graduated 49 seniors from SES. Peter and Paul Church in Miami. Sources: Journal of Sister Mary Alberta Stark, SSJ, in 1961, Immaculata Academy Signum Yearbook. On September 6, 1960, Immaculata Academy's 3rd school year opened with 440 pupils and 9th grade female students from feeder parishes: Jesuit Church Miami, Church of the Little Flower St. Teresa Coral Gables, SES. Peter and Paul Church Miami, St. Michael the Archangel Church Miami, Church of the Epiphany South Miami, St. Brendan's Church Miami, Holy Rosary Church Perrine, and St. Hugh's Church Coconut Grove Miami. Reverend Robert Reardon was appointed supervising principal. On September 11, 1960, Hurricane Donna hit the school and convent with up to 128 mph winds and 11 to 13-foot waves from Bosco Bay. When the school was closed for cleanup, blue clads were found on the second floor of the classroom building, where school books stored and open hallway lockers were damaged and then replaced. Source: Nancy Foy Cox, YLS 1964 Classmates Oral History. On November 14, 1960, the Immaculata Academy student body marched en masse to Rickenbacker Causeway to greet U.S. President-elect John Fahrenheit Kennedy, who was en route to a historical meeting with Vice President Richard Nixon on Key Biscayne. A Christmas pageant was presented by the school in December. The Christmas formal dance was sponsored by the Immaculata Parents Auxiliary. During the winter of 1960-1961, the first Student Red Cross chapter was formed. Source: Journal of Sister Mary Alberta Stark, SSJ in 1961 Immaculata Academy Signum Yearbook. On February 14, 1961, the ILS Junior class sponsored the Heart of Fashion show. Sources: Journal of Sister Mary Alberta Stark, SSJ in the 1960-1964 Immaculata Academy Signum Yearbooks and Corona Student Newspaper editions. Christian Brothers of the Christian Schools. Christian Brothers of the Christian Schools. On April 30, 1651, Jean-Baptiste de La Salle 1651-1719 was born to a family of wealth in Reims, France. At age 27, La Salle was ordained a priest after renouncing his family's fortune. He received his doctorate in theology a few years later. La Salle founded the order in 1680 with the mission of teaching poor boys. Found literally in every part of the world, La Salle founded a teaching order known as the Brothers of the Christian Schools to instruct teachers and create schools for delinquent children. He also founded vocational and secondary schools, and implemented the use of modern languages, arts and sciences. La Salle dedicated his life to establishing and developing quality schools throughout France. After his death in 1719, he was canonized a saint of the Roman Catholic Church by Pope Leo XIII. To avoid persecution in France, 70 La Salle Christian brothers were sent to Canada. On September 10, 1905, 11 brothers arrived in Cuba and were well received by the Cuba's president and the Bishop of Havana. Immediately they opened 2 new schools in Havana. Within 56 years, they had opened 23 schools and 1 university in Cuba. Their schools were available to all children regardless of income, status or race. In 1959, the communist regime forced students to join the militia. On May 1, 1961, Cuban Prime Minister Fidel Castro decreed the nationalization of all 350 private schools. Churches were also closed, and all priests and religious, as well as the Christian brothers, were expelled from Cuba. During the first 2 years of the Cuban Revolution, many Catholic students were sent to prison and were soon joined by many priests and brothers. They were tortured on a daily basis at the infamous La Cabana prison. They agonized and prayed nightly as they heard students yell Viva Cristo Rey before being shot by a firing squad at the Perdon. On May 25, 1961, 109 brothers of the Christian Schools Christian Brothers arrived at Miami International Airport on a Pan American World Airways flight, which was chartered by the Scopat Arca family. They came to the United States because Cuban Prime Minister Fidel Castro closed all Catholic churches, convents, and schools, and expelled all priests and religious orders. Thousands of their former students who had fled Cuba earlier were there to greet them. A few days later, 6 former students Eduardo R. Arellano de Cardenas, Jose M. Arellano de Cardenas, Bienvenido Benny Benek Hostels, Oscar Bastel Guaz, Nestor Machado Lopez Munoz, and Eduardo Sanchez Rionda visited the brothers at the Everglades Hotel in downtown Miami and resolved to assist them in establishing another La Salle school in Miami. These student co-founders of La Salle High School asked the community for help raising funds and gathering clothing for the brothers. They met with Bishop Coleman Carroll and Reverend Brian Walsh, who both agreed to fund a school for the Christian brothers. The decision was prompt and swift. The school was built in less than 6 months in the same site as Immaculata Academy. The bishop arranged for the schools to share certain school facilities. Meanwhile, other Christian brother schools in New York and Pennsylvania sent brothers to set the curriculum and work with the Cuban Christian brothers. La Salle High School. La Salle High School is named for Street Jean-Baptiste de La Salle, founder of the Brothers of the Christian Schools, the Christian Brothers, and universal patron of teachers. The Christian Brothers is the largest group of men in the Roman Catholic Church devoted exclusively to teaching. In the United States, they mainly teach and administer elementary schools and high schools. On June 3, 1961, 72 Immaculata Academy seniors received diplomas from Bishop Carroll at the Church of the Little Flower St. Teresa in Coral Gables. On September 5, 1961, Immaculata Academy opened with 490 students and 20 faculty members, 10 religious and 10 lay teachers. For the first time, the Immaculata student body had 6 African American students. 1964 classmate and Tony Williams was the first African American student to enroll at Immaculata Academy. This was nearly 10 years before federal Judge East Thad Atkins ordered all Dade County schools to be racially integrated by September. On January 22, 1970. Also, Cuban refugee girls soon became Immaculata classmates and were paired with Immaculata students to learn English. Basic Spanish was taught to all students over the school intercom. Source: 1964 ILS classmate Tony Williams. Gary's Oral History. Once again, the Sisters of St. Joseph welcomed diverse students to the school, as had always been their tradition in America. Although the U.S. Supreme Court 1954 decision in Brown v.S. Board of Education made segregated schools illegal, in 1964 only 2% of public schools nationwide were racially integrated. On September 11, 1961, LaSalle High School was officially founded by Bishop Coleman Fahrenheit Carroll under the direction of the District of Cuba of the Brothers of the Christian Schools, the Christian Brothers. LaSalle opened its doors for the first time in late September with 260 students, grades 7 through 12, with a faculty of 13 Christian brothers. The majority of students were Cuban refugees. 2 American brothers assisted the faculty, and Brother Benjamin Rook, FSC, became LaSalle's first principal. Miami Parish is served by Immaculata and LaSalle Work Jesu, Street Michael the Archangel, SDS. Peter and Paul, and Street Dominic, Miami, Church of the Little Flower St. Teresa, Coral Gables, Street U Coconut Grove, Miami, Church of the Epiphany, and Street Thomas the Apostle, South Miami, Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, Perrine, Sacred Heart, Homestead, Street Brendan, and Street Timothy, West Miami, and Street Atniski, Biscayne. On December 2, 1961, Cuban Prime Minister Fidel Castro announced he was a communist. On December 17, the Immaculata Glee Club presented a Christmas concert, The Gift, based on T. Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Ballet, under the direction of Sister Mary Joseph Butterfield, SSJ. In the spring of 1962, Immaculata and LaSalle presented their first joint student production, the senior class play The Sound of Music. In April, the Immaculata Chorus, under the direction of Sister Butterfield, SSJ, presented a spring concert, So Proudly We Sing. The concert was recorded on a 33 LP record album and sold as a fundraiser. On May 31, 1962, for the first time, 85 Immaculata and 30 LaSalle seniors graduated together at Church of the Little Flower St. Teresa in Coral Gables. These seniors were LaSalle's first graduates in America. Sources: Jose Arellano, 1961 LaSalle classmate and school co-founders, Oral History, in 1961 and 1962 Signum student yearbooks and Corona student newspaper editions. Immaculata-LaSalle High School. In September 1962, LaSalle High School was placed under the Christian Brothers of the Baltimore District, and Brother Patrick Ellis, FSC, became the school's second principal. Along with Immaculata Academy, LaSalle formed a co-institutional school, which shared facilities but not faculties. Immaculata-LaSalle High School. Reverend Claude East Brubaker was ILS first supervising principal. On September 4, when Immaculata opened with 570 students and 25 teachers, there were 3 portable buildings that provided 6 extra classrooms. On September 29, 1962, the LaSalle Royals football team played their first game at 3:45 p.m. at Central Stadium, now part of Florida International University, against Florida Air Academy of Melbourne, Florida. The Air Academy won that game 6-0. On June 2, 126 Immaculata and 58 LaSalle seniors graduated from Church of the Little Flower St. Teresa in Coral Gables, Florida. On September 3, 1963, ILS enrollment was 615. On February 4, 1964, Bishop Carroll dedicated the new Immaculata-LaSalle Science Building. On February 7 and 8, the 1964 senior class play The Peace Call was performed in the cafetorium. On April 24, 1964, the ILS Junior/Senior Prom was held at the DuPont Plaza Hotel in downtown Miami, the first prom to be held off campus. On April 26, ILS Spring Band and Choral Concert was held. On May 31, Immaculata and LaSalle seniors attended a baccalaureate mass at Street Used Church in Coconut Grove. On June 1, 117 Immaculata seniors graduated with LaSalle and Christopher Columbus High Schools at Miami Beach Auditorium. It is the last time Immaculata and LaSalle seniors will wear separate class rings. These graduating seniors, most of whom were born in 1946, are the first of the post-war baby boomer generation to graduate from high school. Sources: 1960-1964 ILS Signum student yearbooks and Corona student newspaper editions and sports, concert, and theatre programs. In May 1966, students succeeded in having a traffic light installed on Bayshore Drive, a dangerous traffic intersection at the entrance to the school. This project was the 1966 class gift to ILS. After attending many City of Miami Commission meetings, the traffic light was finally installed 1 week after their graduation. Source: Maria Restrepo Forte, ILS 1966 Classmates Oral History. On May 29, 1966, 124 Immaculata seniors and 63 LaSalle seniors attended a baccalaureate mass at STS Peter and Paul Church in Miami and graduated with Christopher Columbus seniors at Dade County Auditorium. The address to the graduates was given by RT Reverend Theodore East McCreek, president of the Catholic University of Puerto Rico, and Bishop Goldman Fahrenheit Carroll of Miami presented the special awards. On May 24, 1972, the Pieta sculpture was removed from the Immaculata Academy seawall on Biscayne Bay to Our Lady of Mercy Catholic Cemetery to make room for the shrine of Cuban patron Our Lady of Charity. The official reason given for moving the sculpture was because salt air produced some green cancers on the bronze sculpture. Source: 4-ton bronze Pieta finds new home by Marilyn Moore, Miami News, March 8, 1983. In June, Sister Marie-Therese Everard, SSJ, departed ILS. Sister Everard was the last Sisters of St. Joseph religious to serve in the Immaculata-LaSalle administration as Dean of Student Affairs. In January 1974, the Christian Brothers left Immaculata-LaSalle High School. In June 1981, Sister Elizabeth Worley, SSJ, was the last Sisters of St. Joseph religious to leave Immaculata-LaSalle High School when the Teresian Association took over school administration. The last school yearbook to display the name Immaculata-LaSalle was the 1981-1982 Signum yearbook. Teresian Association. The Teresian Association is an international Catholic lay association of men and women whose objective is the human promotion of individuals and the transformation of unjust structures by means of an education and culture imparted from the platform of Christianity. Its members strive to live in the world after the style of the first Christians, as its founder St. Pedro Poveda desired. In 1911, St. Pedro Poveda opened a pedagogical academy in Gijonas Churias for all teachers, and, concerned as he is with the promotion of women, whose importance and incidence in society he perceives, he also opens a women's academy for those ladies studying to become teachers. These constitute the beginning of what later on will become the Teresian Association. In 1924, Pope Pius Roman XI approves the Teresian Association as an international pious union of the faithful. Its aim is to invite men and women to work for social and human transformation, in accordance with gospel values, from the platform of their own professions, especially those related to the fields of education and culture. Teresian Association members are involved in education and research, social work, family ministry, pastoral work, social programs, and civil service. The association is engaged in different educational, socio-cultural, and humanitarian endeavors and is present in 30 countries with thousands of members and collaborators. During the 1982-1983 school year, the Teresian Association dropped Immaculata from the school's name. The class of 1983-1984 were the last class to wear an Immaculata-LaSalle High School class ring. On March 7, 1983, the Pieta sculpture was moved from Our Lady of Mercy Catholic Cemetery to the Archdiocese of Miami Pastoral Center's Garden of Memories, where it remains. In June 1985, the Salesian Order of St. John Bosco assumed administration of LaSalle High School under the direction of Reverend Frank Wolfram, SDB, as principal. Rosemary Camp departed the school. Salesian Sisters. The Salesian Sisters of Don Bosco, or Daughters of Mary Help of Christians, are the sister order of the Salesians of Don Bosco. They were founded by Saint Maria Mazzarello in 1872 to work alongside Saint Don Bosco in his teaching projects in Turin and continue to be a teaching order worldwide. On August 5, 1872 in Mornese, Alessandria, Italy, the first Daughters of Mary Help of Christians gathered with Don Bosco and Monsignor Joseph Sandro, the Bishop of Acqui, to celebrate their admission to the novitiate and the first professions. On that day, St. Mary Dominica Mazzarello was also elected the first superior and given the title of a vicar. A year later, their first boarding school and primary school was recognized by the educational authorities of Castelletto d'Alba. On October 8, 1874, the Salesian sisters were able to open their first house in Bosco, San Martino. The work of the Salesian sisters was not limited to a schoolroom, as they participated in social justice works and teaching trades to young women and girls. Street Mary Mazzarello and her first companions were able to profess their perpetual vows after studying with the Sisters of St. Anne for their religious formation on August 28, 1875 in the presence of Don Bosco. After many years of revision, discussion and consultation, Don Bosco was able to give to the daughters of Mary Help of Christians the first printed version of their constitutions on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, December 8, 1878. In 1881, Mother Mazzarello took ill and died on May 14, at age 44. In her stead were left 26 houses and 166 sisters. Mary Help of Christians saw to it that her institute grew, and today the order numbers more than 15,000 members in 89 different countries and on 5 continents. Hurricane Andrew. On August 24, 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit South Florida, resulting in 15 deaths, more than 250,000 temporary homeless, and $20 billion in damages. An additional 25 lives were lost indirectly. Hardly any part of South Florida was unaffected, and recovery took years. LaSalle High School was no different. Both LaSalle High School and La Ermita de la Caridad National Shrine worked to forward lodge cabin cruiser boats on several locations on the campus. Although still on summer vacation, many of the students from the class of 1993, 1994 and 1995 participated in an intense 2-week cleanup. Without the help of these students, the school simply could not have opened on time only 2 weeks later. Incredibly, even though the storm surge reached the school's 2nd floor, the statue of Mary Help of Christians was untouched, according to Jose M. Pozzo's class of 1995. This statue was located in front of the cafeteria courtyard right next to a 34 FT boat that had landed there during the storm. For months, many of the students and parents raised money to repair the school. Many alumni also contributed assistance by way of political influence in order to assist in a cleanup, particularly of the mountain of debris located behind the science building. The city of Miami was very gracious in donating the bulk waste machinery needed to clean up the debris. Thankfully, under the direction of Father Patrick Angelici, principal from 1991-1995, the school was able to come back even stronger than before, restoring Immaculata-LaSalle High School's name. In 2002, the first LaSalle High School Alumni Association was formed. 1964, ILS classmate Armando Chapelli proposed to the LaSalle High School Alumni Association to restore the name Immaculata to the school's name and to move the Pietà sculpture back to the campus. On April 24, 2004, the LaSalle High School Alumni Association inducted the following charter members into the school's Hall of Fame: 1964 ALS classmate Antonia Tony Williams Gary, and 1962 ALS classmates and LaSalle student funders Eduardo R. Arellano de Cardenas, Jose N. Arellano de Cardenas, Bienvenido Benny Bennett Costells, Oscar Bosco Guals, Néstor Machado López Muñoz, and Eduardo Sánchez Rionta. Also inducted were former ILS faculty members Sister Mary Joseph Butterfield, SSJ, Sister Elizabeth Worley, SSJ, Brother Malky Broderick, FSC, and Brother Antonio Ramon, FSC. The 2005 hurricane season devastated the school's campus, which suffered extensive damage. The school cafetorium needed to be reconstructed. A tent was installed on the school property and used as a cafeteria until the reconstruction was completed. Recovery efforts were hastened by the assistance of student, faculty, and alumni in the cleanup process. On February 26, 2006, 1966, ALS classmates Marion Carpentier Donnell and Maria Restrepo Forte met with LaSalle High School Principal Sister Patricia Roch, FMA, to express their concerns and disappointment over the decision to drop Immaculata from the school's name. Sister Roch considered allowing the original school building to be named Immaculata Hall and proposed that a small garden area be turned over to Immaculata graduates as a memorial area for Immaculata. On April 29, Principal Roch issued a declaration naming the original school building Immaculata Hall during the 1966 class reunion. Source: Nancy Foy Cox, ALS 1964 Classmates Oral History. In 2006 or 2007, 1966, ALS classmate Maria Restrepo Forte joined the LaSalle Alumni Association board, and the Alumni Association subsequently changed its name to the Immaculata-LaSalle High School Alumni Association. Summer of 2007, Gaston Arellano, son of Jose Maria Arellano, founding member of the class of 1962, joined the Alumni Board of Directors. On June 1, 2007, LaSalle Principal Sister Pat officially solicited support from ILSLME to restore the name Immaculata to LaSalle High School in commemoration of the upcoming 50th anniversary of the founding of Immaculata Academy on September 1, 1958. On June 8, Miami Archbishop John Celsus Favalora sent a letter to Sister Roch granting her request to restore Immaculata to the school's name. 2007 marked the 45th anniversary of the founding of Immaculata-LaSalle High School. 2006 marked the 45th anniversary of LaSalle High School's founding in Miami, Florida. After nearly 25 years, the name Immaculata was officially restored to the school's name on October 20, 2007 during the school's 50th anniversary celebration. LaSalle High School is served by the Miami Metro Rail at the Vizcaya station. Athletics: fall, cheerleading and slasher, cross-country tour, football tour, swimming tour, volleyball tour winter, basketball tour, soccer tour spring, baseball tour, softball tour, track and field tour, tennis tour, lacrosse tour. Notable alumni: Carlos Alvarez, former mayor of Miami-Dade County. Frank Angons, head of the Florida Bar. Ariana Berg, former Miss Cuba. Ana Maricos, 33rd and current president of the University of Washington. Tomas Regalado, former mayor of Miami. Willie Carino, musician. Ana Quincos, celebrity chef. Francis X. Suarez, mayor of Miami. Nearby comparable schools: Street Brandon High School, Belen Jesuit Preparatory School, Christopher Columbus High School.